blah, blah, blah. It's just like how we feel about blah blah blah, and all that, and and then like no, 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 no. Don't even dare compare me to the NMDs when it comes to Star Trek, because there's a lot of differences. A lot of differences. Let me give you a few for example, okay? And I would number these, but there's going to probably be too many and I'll lose track anyway. Um, First off, you don't see the Dr. Freedom Twitter account or the Dr. Freedom page or anything that I type or post on the internet going hashtag not my Star Trek, hashtag not my captain, or anything like that. I just don't watch it. All right, next on the batting order. You don't see me making creative names before the showrunners and the actors. You know, anybody, Chin Balls and Shiddicker, anyone? You don't see me doing, oh God, it's Sonequa makes me green, or anything like that. You don't see me saying, oh look, it's crap rooms. You don't see me going in the stores and carving nut on the titles of DVD covers. You don't see me sitting on Facebook or Twitter and every time anyone posts a picture of one of the lead actors going into a tirade about how it sucks, it's all crap, it's total shit, or anything like that. Oh, and by the way, anybody, you didn't see me back in the late 80s, early 90s, and forgive me because I can't remember what exactly year it came out. You don't see me going back. Yeah, it's happened, Saeed. Way back when Series 11 came out on DVD, somebody posted a series of pictures and all that on Twitter where they had taken the Series 11 DVDs and they literally, with a sharp object or point out, had carved "not" above Doctor Who on the title. And I'm sitting there thinking, wow, you're risking getting arrested because you're an idiot. But you see, you don't see me, like I said, every time somebody's on Facebook or Twitter and they post a picture of, say, Sonequa Martin Green or the Star Trek Discovery cast or going into a 5-minute tirade about why it's all shit. Somebody tried to say, well, now you know how we feel about blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. I said, no, I don't, because we had a female captain named Janeway back on Voyager, back, around the time DS9 and all that was still on. And I didn't see members of the fandom walking around screeching, not my captain, not my this, and not my that. And I've not seen the end of Kenobi yet, okay? I got in yesterday. We slapped on the first 2 episodes of Umbrella Academy, and so far they're knocking it out of the park, as usual. Exactly. You don't see me, and Series 1 of Voyager did, come off. It was a bit slow at first, but then, it got better. There's a lot of towards the end of that I have not seen yet. I'm going to have to sit down and rewatch because, I missed a few episodes here and there. I know that I did the same thing on DS9. Fortunately, I do have a subscription to Paramount Plus, so because that's where they all are at now. But I'm loving how people are trying to compare my criticisms of the new Star Trek to their hatred of Doctor Who for the last few years. I'm like, no. I never once sat there, oh, by the way, and said, Well, Rotten Tomatoes says this. I love how Rotten Tomatoes, now even in TV ads, it's a damn site that openly admitted they can be botted. That's why they had to remove several of their key, questions, features, and all that, because when Wonder Woman was up on there, people were. It turns out they were botting dislikes onto it. Same thing with Series 11 of Doctor Who before it even aired. Yeah, you didn't see me before Series 11 aired sitting there going on and on for days about how it was going to be crap, it was going to be woke, and it was going to be dull, and it was going to be, what do you call it, bland. You see what I mean? Yeah, like I said, I've not watched Strange New World yet, but like I said, I may do it one of these days. Discovery, like I said, I just don't like it when they plunk things in that era, because it was obvious to me that they were just going to cash in on the original Trek, and they did in a lot of ways. The Mirror universe, oh, we were there first, this and all that. We've been to Talos 4 so many times, yada, yada, yada. But, of course, nobody knows because that was all classified and we got zonked into the future. And I'm like, what? Okay, but then again, like I said, classic Trek had those moves too. Like, the Borg are coming. The Borg's kicking our butt. Did anybody forget the plans for the Genesis torpedo? It's like, you could have taken out as many Borg planets as you want. And it's the same thing with, they were supposed to be introducing transwarp drive in Star Trek 3, and they decided to say it was a failed experiment and all that, and that's because Roddenberry said, look, and it was the truth, the galaxy would have been a far, far smaller place. Yeah, that's all Rotten Tomatoes is. I agree with you. They openly admitted they were being botted, and yet now they're still they're even quoting them on commercials. I'm like, it's a website. It's just a rating site. That's all it is. Oh, it's fresh. Oh, it's rotten. It's what. Well, that's very true. Yeah, it would be nasty if the Borg got their hands on the Genesis torpedo. Yeah, I just think they'd make all the plans. But if you used it enough times, I don't think there'd be any of them alive to adapt to it. But like I said, it was one of the things. Plus the fact that, like I said, one of the things I didn't like about, I think it was it Enterprise and all that? Or was it where all of a sudden, they took a mistake from Star Trek 3 and made it into a big deal. Okay, what happened was at the beginning of Star Trek 3, there was supposed to be a scene where you see Krug steal the bird of prey from the Romulans, because it was the first time the Romulans made a bird of prey in this particular configuration of vessel. There was a screw up. It was pretty much undefended, and then these Klingons raided the place and got it. But instead, they decided to make it the Klingon bird of prey, which was kind of worked out better because the Klingons and the Romulans had worked together before and all that. And that was established in the previous series, in the original series, and that was because of a happy accident with a model, but we won't go into that right now. Yeah, I have not seen Miss Marvel, so I can't criticize it. Like I said, I just make fun of the fact that I remember, like, back in the 70s, back when Captain Marvel and all that was one guy, and it was Billy Batts, and if he shouted Shazam, he turned into Captain Marvel. And now there's a Shazam, there's Captain Marvel. There was Miss Marvel, but I think that was Carol Danvers originally. And then, of course, later on came Captain Marvel, the fighter pilot, and then all that. I'm like, but a lot of that was due to copyright issues, as someone brought up. My friend William told me about this before. And, oh yeah, you've already heard the bully going on about on Rotten Tomatoes. If I remember right, the ones that stick out on top of my head were Series 11, and it was months before it even aired. People were taking advantage of the "Would you want to watch it" thing, and they were botting the crap out of it. Same thing with the Wonder Woman movie when it was up on there, and I think there was a few others I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was kind of nifty how you had a female-led movie and a female-led series were being bombed on Rotten Tomatoes by bots. And I'm like, now Rotten Tomatoes did discover it, and they disabled, I think, that particular function and all that because it was getting botted. I remember there was a big hoop-de-doo about it a few years ago, and I'm like, why are you still backing a site that if a movie studio wanted their movie certified fresh on it, if a bunch of guys, with no money, no wake and all that can rebut a review, what do you think a corporation can do? They've got people who are probably deliberately paid to go out and bot sites. No, I'm not. You see, what happened was in this case, somebody tried to compare my views on Star Trek to their views about Doctor Who. And I'm like, okay, I said, legitimate criticism, yes. In that field, fine. But don't sit there and try to tell me that I'm just like the haters and stuff like that. I'm like, you don't see me hashtagging not my Star Trek. You don't see me sitting there hashtagging not my captain or stupid shit like that. I've just elected not to watch because, like I said, I don't sit there and watch every episode and make a big hoop-de-doo about it because I know it's going to get tens and thousands of views just based off the fact that I can't yell like that. Guys like Boley and all that don't realize how much of a racist, bigot, and all that they sound like. What they do is they sit there, they rant off at the mouth, and they go back to the video, and basically I believe they edit out anything they know would trigger the waycall to get themselves kicked off YouTube. I'm not kidding. I've actually heard some of this stuff as it was played. People have reviewed it, and I'm like, dude, it's like you're literally riding the borderline. Any more over the border, and they'll pull you for waycaught, for hatred, or for your waycaught. It's just, or for I don't even want to go through the names of it right now. Like I said, don't compare my dislike for Star Trek to your dislike for Doctor Who. I just don't like the way Star Trek set up. It has nothing to do with the fact that somebody left the stem off the apple, so to speak. Because that's what a lot of it is. And a lot of the same names who were complaining about it before it even came out are the same ones who are still going on, and they watch every single episode. I said, I saw the trailer for Discovery, and I didn't watch it. I didn't sit there and make reviews of every single episode and go talk about how much crap it was and then say I'm being tortured by watching it. Like I said, yeah, I've always watched Doctor Who and always will. Just to give you an example of the Boley and Trilby went on about this in one of his videos, and he even quotes him on all this stuff. He plays the clips where he actually said it. And like I said, he said something along the lines of the next Doctor wasn't a straight white male, then the show was on its way to disaster. Also, another thing you've never seen me do, despite my misgivings about the current era of Star Trek, you've never seen me go hashtag, or you never seen me hashtag or type on a post Star Trek 1966 to 2009. Never seen me do it, have you? Because why should I run it for somebody else? Or here's my other favorite one. They're raping Gene Roddenberry's vision. You don't hear me saying things like that, do you? Well, folks, I just looked at the time. I have got to run inside. So please take care of yourselves and each other. Please be kind, be calm, be safe. Above everything else, please be kind, and we'll catch you all in the future. I just realized I'm running behind. So take care, everybody. Have a nice day.